The views and comments of the hosts and guests are not necessarily those of the station.
Hi, I'm Nicole Jacinto. Join us on Healthline with 𝗪𝗏 as we discuss the latest health and medical topics with doctors from 𝗪𝗏. For a healthier and uplifting lifestyle, tune into Healthline with 𝗪𝗏 on DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Radio Bandido TV. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Watch and listen to Healthline with 𝗪𝗏, Mondays 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Airing on Sky Cable Channel 224 and on all DTT boxes. Simulcasting online on Facebook and YouTube. Listen and watch on your mobile devices. Just search DZRJ Radio Bandido.
You're about to experience Healthline, a show where doctors from 𝗪𝗏 interact with you for a healthy, uplifting lifestyle. Moderated by Nicole Jacinto. You've got questions, we've got answers. So welcome to Healthline.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Healthline with 𝗪𝗏. I'm your host, Nicole Jacinto. Today, we are going to discuss lower back pain and neck pain with Dr. Bruce Canto here, who is an orthopedic specialist. Hi, doctor. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Nicole, and hi to the listeners and viewers of the show.
Okay, thank you for being with us today. Doctor, I'm sure pain is something that a lot of people can relate to. And also, pain is something that is so physiologically built into us. We're wired for it. And it's primal. No, and when it comes to lower back and neck pain, the first question I'd like to ask you though is pain an indicator that is it our body's way of telling us in a way that something is wrong, something may be wrong, we may be in danger, or is it a kind of warning to signal system to us?
Generally, yeah, that's the case. No, when you are experiencing any sort of pain in the body, that means that either there is something that is not functioning properly, or you're doing something to your body that's causing harm. No, so that's an indication that you have it checked, or you should see a doctor, or you should have it evaluated. So you're correct in saying that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, doctor. Okay. And just jump in anytime and correct me if I'm wrong or if I mispronounce something or, say something that is not as accurate as it should be, for myself and for our audience to be informed and educated properly by you. Okay.
Sure.
So can we talk about lower back pain first and then move on to neck pain? And then perhaps, I'm sure that everybody or almost everybody at some point in their life will experience some form of lower back pain, some form of neck pain, or perhaps both. Maybe we can tie that all in together later on when we circle back. But for lower back pain, doctor, can you describe the exact part of the anatomy that would be considered the lower back, so that it's clearer for myself and the audience what exactly those parts are, because we might start mixing up like the midsection or whatever it is when we consider lower back pain.
Usually when patients say low back pain, they're referring to the area between the part of the back between lower portion of below the ribs and above the hips. No, so usually in our case we call that the lumbar region, referring to the lumbar vertebra. So this region is really the more flexible region of the spine as compared to the upper back or the mid back region. You're referring to the thoracic area. This is where the thoracic spine is located. The thoracic spine is more rigid than the lumbar area because the thoracic spine is where your ribs are attached to. As they go around your chest wall, the ribs are attached to the thoracic spine. And then when you talk about neck pain, it's referring to your cervical region. So the posterior area of your neck, which connects already to your skull. So basically, those are the regions of the spine already: the cervical, thoracic, and then of course the lumbar. The region around your pelvis or the buttocks area, the part of the spine there is referred to the sacral region. No? So that's where the buttock area is. So if the patient comes in and then they're saying low back pain, I have low back pain here, they're usually referring to that lower region, no, below the ribs area nga.
And above.
Yeah, above the hips. When it's mid-back, it's usually just where the ribs are about to start, no? So yung parang buto-buto, the area at the back, that's what they say about it. So
Okay. Thank you, doctor. Okay, so doctor, when patients come in and they say they have lower back pain, do you ask them to describe it? And what are the typical descriptions? And I mean, why are the reasons? Is there a reason why you ask them to describe the type of pain?
okay, back pain is a very, very, very vague symptom. It can point to so many problems, not just in the back, not just in the muscles, but even sometimes in the internal organs. No, sometimes you have problems with your abdominal organs. It can manifest as back pain, such as pancreatitis, or something with the spleen or something like that. If it refers to muscular pain, usually the patient will say na there's an incident, no? Parang they either lifted something or they were gardening and then they started to have very sudden onset of pain, something like that. So that usually refers more to probably nga the muscle or baka even the bone, no? So they describe it as aching pain, pain that starts when you try to change in position. Sometimes they say na, Doc, when I'm lying down, parang I cannot change, no, turn from side to side. They cannot last sitting for longer periods of time. They start feeling tired already. So these are the usual descriptions I get, no, from patients. It's not naman a burning pain. It's more really of a dull aching pain, no, that they describe.
So the most common type of pain that a patient comes in with, that in your experience, like they've described it as a dull aching pain, and if they say, are there other descriptions like it's a sharp pain, or it's, well, you mentioned burning, but like it's this type of pain, or it feels like someone's stepping on me, like, and do
Yeah.
those, do those different types of descriptions, can they help you in pointing to the type of to what may be the cause? Like later on we can talk about it with a full diagnosis when we talk about how do you
Okay,
diagnose.
that's very good you mentioned that. The type of pain and also the character of pain also points out to the underlying cause, no? So there are many causes of back pain. If it's sharp, if it's dull, if it's constant, if it's, they point to different reasons why the patient is experiencing that. It could be a fracture, osteoporotic fracture. It could be an infection or something like that. So there are many other causes, and the type of pain that they describe is very important. So that's why we listen very carefully. Medyo makulit kami for them to describe the kind of pain, and so it helps us in diagnosing the problem.
Thank you, doctor. So, like, okay, when a patient comes into your clinic and then they say, I have this type of pain, you do ask them exactly what kind of pain it is, because it can help you in diagnosis, and like if it's constant or intermittent, na sometimes it's not there. But like you mentioned earlier, doc, it hurts when I suddenly bend or
Yes.
change positions even in my sleep.
Yes.
And that's the only time it bothers me, but then it seems to bother me for a while. Or as you mentioned also earlier, I can't seem to sit down for more than 2 hours straight. And then I just feel more comfortable when I'm either lying down or standing up, as opposed to sitting down. And as you're saying, like the different types of descriptions, like whether it's dull, it's like an ache, like a toothache or something that's there constantly, or just intermittent, whether it's sharp or not, then that can help you with your diagnosis. And that's why folks, your doctor will ask you, what kind of pain is it? Or can you do this? Can you do that? I don't know. Perhaps you ask them, like, can you raise your leg? Can you show me this? You said, kaya makulit kayo minsan. Pero you need that information from the patient to make sure that you really know the full picture and what's going on.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So doctor, when it comes to lower back pain, does referred pain come into this also? I know you mentioned earlier that you might have something like wrong with your pancreas, or it could be an abdominal issue. Are there other like conditions or things that the pain is in your lower back, but it's referred actually from another part of your body? I mean, other types of conditions as well.
Uh, yeah, there are a lot. So how we go about this when we try and eliminate all the other possible causes is, aside from the description of the back pain, syempre we also have to interview the patient, the circumstances and the history, how it started, what was the predisposing instant or circumstances which led to the pain. Of course, also the chronicity, how long the patients have been feeling this pain. And then we examine the patient. We do a thorough examination where exactly on the region of the back. We have some tests that we can do. We do palpation. We try and palpate and examine the back, and we see if it's really tender and so forth like that. So to eliminate all the other possible causes and to zone in on this the real cause of the back pain, we have like we need a thorough history. We need to also do a thorough physical examination, and then that's when we're able to actually find out and really diagnose the problem of the patient. When the patient has back pain and comes to see us or an orthopedic surgeon like that, about 85-90% of the time it's usually muscular. So that's really the most common cause. It's muscle strain. It's from fatigue, from prolonged sitting. It's fatigue from poor posture. It's from whatever they're. Also, we have to investigate what do they do every day. What's their daily activity? For example, most of the patients I see coming to the clinic, they're either chefs, so they're standing and they're very busy in the kitchen. They're doing a lot of repetitive bending, when they prepare their food and when they try and arrange on the dishes and when they're cooking. There's a lot of repetitive bending going on. So that kind of activity syempre leads to already some stress in the back area. I have patients also who come from the BPO industry. People are sitting for, let's say, an average of 10 to 12 hours a day, and they say that they're not even allowed to stand every hour because the busy calls that they had to take and so forth like that. So it's been proven already that prolonged sitting is already one of the number one causes of back pain nowadays, especially in the working population. So these are very important details, the activity, what they do every day, that comes into helping us really manage these kinds of patients.
Thank you, doctor. And are there such cases also when like there's, let's say, lower back pain, but they say a patient will say it extends to my hips, down my legs and my feet, but it's actually the lower back that's let's say muscle strain, but it's also affecting like other parts of their body. Does that happen also?
That happens a lot also. So when it's radiating already, so it's back pain, radiating, doc, may back pain ako and it's going down my buttocks or my thigh. That's already to us a clue na it might already not just be back pain, baka meron na siyang sciatica. Sciatica is what we call the pain that radiates from the back down the thigh or even to the leg or foot that is caused by a compression or naiipit, one of the nerve roots coming out of the spine. And again, if we go into that, there are many causes for that as well. But it starts out, the natural history would be muscular, the muscle, the core, our muscles around the spine are always tired from our daily activity. And when the muscles are too tired, hindi siya nabibigyan ng proper rest. We don't stretch enough. We don't do any core strengthening exercises. And syempre, we all, the time passes for everybody. We're all getting older. Yes. So when that happens and the muscles aren't doing their job to support the weight of the upper body, and still, no, you're sitting on average about 8 to 10 hours a day. The discs in between the bones in your spine, they degenerate faster, and when they do that, they end up bulging into the spaces where the nerves comes out, and that's when nerve compression comes in, and that's when you have sciatica. So you see, it's kind of like a we call that a degenerative cycle. No, it's a part of the natural history of what happens to our spine as it degenerates.
Okay. Thank you, doctor. And okay, so by the way, I just thought of this. What do you think of those let's say, you'll see a lot of ads for like with this pillow for lumbar support and all of that, or sit on, I mean, it's kind of like those are like sort of pillows that press on your lower back, or like they're pillows that you can sit on and stuff like that. Do you generally approve of that, or is it on a case to case basis, or does that really help?
If it's for the general muscle strain of the lower back, that's causing the back pain. Again, no, the cause is really the amount of time you spend sitting, and of course the posture. Ideally, our lumbar region has to be in a upper arch, has to be in a curve. No, there has to be a lower arch like that in the lower area. So that's the purpose of all that lumbar pillows, the lumbar support, all that, all the ergonomic chairs that they use. There's a like a lump here at the lower portion of your spine. No, that's if you lean against that, that actually restores your arch. No, parang bumabalik yung bilog sa likod, as they say. So even the devices that you sit on, I think there are devices that are built to rock you into place. If you sit flat, it rocks your pelvis forward, and then it also restores that lumbar arch. So that's the principle behind that. No, so it does help in a sense if you use it. So I would say, yes, it's okay to my patients. Yeah, you can use that. That will be helpful. But the problem with that is, studies have shown the average person, for sitting longer than an hour, whatever they're sitting on, whether the best ergonomic chair or not, whether they have a lumbar pillow or not, they're going to slouch. They're going to end up flexing forward. They're not going to be leaning back against their lumbar pillow. And then, it's really just human nature. You really want to feel that stretch on your lower back. So in essence, nawawala yung arch, nawawala yung bilog, nagiging kuba yung pasyente. And then they end up feeling that they like that stretch. So they end up, sitting for that way for the whole day.
Yeah. You actually end up sometimes slouching even more. I remember
for the whole day. Worse pa for patients who work at home. Yung mga work from home pa rin hanggang ngayon, no? There are patients who still have that work from home condition. So actually, they're the ones who have more higher prevalence of back pain, these patients who work from home. So if you have those devices, and then, you don't really use it religiously, or you're not naman really, after a while, hindi mo gagamitin, sayang lang din. I think it's more important talaga to educate the patients and say na, it's the amount of time you spend sitting is really the problem. Even if you maintain the correct posture, even if you maintain that arch for a prolonged period of time, let's say you're very good and, you have a mirror beside your desk and you're watching yourself and you see yourself, oh, tama naman yung posture ko, maganda naman yung bilog ng likod ko. But if you sit more than 45 minutes, you're gonna have pain, you're gonna have back pain pa din. That's why they say prolonged static posture, when you're not moving, prolonged static posture is really the enemy. Even for patients who are not naman sitting but are standing, mga security guard, for example, ganyan, yung mga standing for prolonged periods of time, that also causes pain. So patients who don't move, people who don't move, who are like in a static position for a prolonged amount of time, they end up having pain as well. Kung hindi lang back, pati na rin sa legs, pati din in the other muscular areas. So it's really trying to educate the patients to move more. Sit less, move more, do a lot of stretching, regular stretching every hour on the hour if you can. And that will prevent a lot of problems for us, and for not just for the doctors, but also especially for the patients as well.
Yes. Thank you, doctor. Okay, so are there other, well, maybe we can talk about the more serious conditions later that are that are related to lower back pain, or like maybe what happens if it's left untreated. Let's talk about let's move on to neck pain first. Okay, can we describe the exact anatomy of the neck, doctor, for us in the audience to consider what constitutes, like, technically what constitutes neck pain? Because like there was one time when somebody came up to me and she said, I have pain in my neck. I have neck pain. And she was pointing to this area, which was her throat. Turned out she had a sore throat. So I was like, okay, I know it's part of your neck area, but it's, I mean, it was just like a description, because is it in the side of the neck, the back, or the shoulders included, something like that.
Yeah, usually when patients have neck pain, when they're referring to the cervical spine or the muscles in the neck, they usually point to the area here, the back of the head.
The back of the neck.
That's right,
Where,
no?
where the bone, where the spine is, where the bones are.
The muscles are. Usually, pag sinabi nilang, Doc, parang I have stiff neck. So automatically you know already. When you say stiff neck, it means that when they try and rotate their head, it's very, very painful. Or when they try and flex their neck, when they try and bend forward and backwards, no, it's very, very painful. So talagang pag sinabi lang stiff neck, alam na natin that's muscle strain talaga yan. Nagsaspasm yung muscles around the cervical spine, no. I think when you refer to, let's say, sore throat or something around the thyroid or anything like that, that might even be throat pain, but that's also included in our evaluation. No.
Okay, so that's also included in your evaluation. So
Yeah.
good to know, because I mean, like, as with back pain as well, is there referred pain to the neck? And conversely, like, if you have neck pain or a stiff neck, do you get pain in other parts that are near your neck, like your shoulders, or perhaps even your upper arms or anything like that?
Very good. So exactly like the lumbar spine, there are also nerve roots coming out of the cervical spine as well. And then these nerve roots are the ones that go through the shoulder, the arm, forearm, into our hands, no? So the nerves from the cervical spine, they're the ones, parang sila yung wiring sa mga kamay natin. So exactly, if there is impingement again in the nerve roots along the cervical spine, then that will manifest as radiculopathy naman, we call that, not sciatica. Pag upper region, it's called radiculopathy or radiating.
Radiculopathy.
Yeah, so there we go. So parang yun nga, nag-radiate then if there is nerve impingement. Sometimes the patients will say, Doc, parang I have pain here at the back of my neck going down to the space in between my shoulder blades. Yeah, and they like to say that all the time, no? That's actually, I always say, that's actually also still muscle. No, that's still, there's a big muscle that starts from the back of the base of the skull that goes back to the head and the neck to the upper shoulders. It's called the trapezius. It goes this way and then goes like that. Again, that's muscular strain. That's muscular in origin, and it's also from yung laging nakayuko. It's from poor head posture as well. So that's also very common. Minsan hand in hand yan eh. May back pain na may neck pain pa. So
yes, exactly.
alam mo masyado ka talagang nagtatrabaho. I joke my patients that way kasi nga, they're in front of their screens, they're monitored for probably an average of 8 to 10 hours. And then they don't stretch enough. And then you ask them, do you have any exercise? Do you have any regular exercise? And then they say, oh, Doc, meron mga 6 months ago. So, yun pala wala talaga. So, what I mean? But it's really, they go hand in hand most of the time, neck pain, back pain. Sometimes they're children, even adolescents, no? I see in the clinic, they complain of back pain and neck pain. And yun pala, it's device usage. It's amount of that they...
Cellphone.
Nakayuko, no? Sa cellphone sila, nakayuko. Or even the teens, no? Teenagers. Parang... how many hours they spend looking at their phone. So it's all about really head posture and activity related talaga yung pain natin.
Thank you, doctor. And so yung when the pain like goes down to, so you can either have something that your neck pain can radiate. If it's nerves, it can go down to your upper arms or even maybe down to your lower arms. And if it's muscular in nature, like one of the most common complaints you get is that space between the shoulder blade. So hindi yun hangin, Doc?
Yan. Okay. So there's no such thing as hangin. yung mga, yung mga lamig-lamig na ganyan, hindi yan totoo.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, so for that matter, what do you think about well, maybe we can talk about that a bit later when it comes to, pain management and all of that. But we've gone through also, do you ask them to describe neck pain? Like, what are the most common descriptions of muscular neck pain or neck pain that has already or let's say the discs or whatever it is have already impinged on some of the nerves. Is it dull? Is it intermittent? Is it sharp? Is it aching all the time?
Actually, it depends. It's case to case. It really is case to case. So I actually there's no fixed description that I actually look for. I let them describe it, and it helps me trace. You're like a detective. You try to investigate when it started. Again, how long it's been there, and what's the character of the pain, and then location, and does it radiate to somewhere? So all the questions that you're asking are actually excellent. No, these are the questions I ask them. And then it helps us diagnose. So sometimes it's more really more like spastic, the pain that they describe. It's
spastic, parang it's like
it's like a cramp. Exactly, it's like the muscles na naninigas, and then parang konti movement lang masakit na masakit. So yun yung pinaka common that I see. Others naman is parang at the end of the day, parang doc, parang may muscle ache ako dyan, may muscle pain.
Ngalay na yung...
Ngalay, yeah. The ngalay is also the word that they like to use. Parang gusto ko yung pamasahe, parang gusto ko yung pagganyan, but it's every day, doc. So because it happens every day, that's usually when they get worried, and then they see me. So
okay.
Parang ganun.
And I'll ask you about massage later and other things. Okay, sure. Doc. We just have to take a really short break, but we'll be right back. I actually have a pain in the neck, Doc, but it's a person, so it's not a technical pain in the neck. I can't see you for that. Okay, so Doctor, we just take a very short break, folks. Stay tuned to Healthline with Makati Med, where we're talking to Dr. Bruce Canto, who's an orthopedic specialist. I'm Nicole, Jacinto, your host. You'll be right back.
You're listening to DZRJ 810 AM. We'll be right back after these reminders.
Hi, this is Dr. 𝗛𝗶𝘁𝗵 from Makati Medical Center, and I'm happy to share that our world-class quality healthcare with the heart is now more accessible and affordable through Makati Med Care Access at 𝗛𝗶𝗺 Available for outpatient care services, our 𝗛𝗶𝗺 site offers consultation and diagnostic procedures such as medical assistance, hospital admission assistance, blood pressure monitoring, laboratory tests, and X-ray, among others. This is really convenient for those residing in Makati and nearby areas who do not want to go to the hospital to have these treatments and procedures done. We believe that access to excellent quality and compassionate healthcare is a basic human right, and we at Makati Med 𝗛𝗶𝗺 are doing our best to make this possible to more people. We are open from Monday to Saturday at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the third floor of 𝗛𝗶𝗺 in Makati City. For inquiries, you may reach us at these numbers. We look forward to serving you here at Makati Med Care Access 𝗛𝗶𝗺. Hi, this is Dr. 𝗛𝗶𝘁𝗵 from Makati Medical Center, and I'm happy to share that our world-class quality healthcare with the heart is now more accessible and affordable via Makati Med Mobile Care Access. As the name suggests, this service is mobile, which means that we go to where you are. Mobile Care Access deploys a team of professionals for face-to-face consultations and to conduct basic laboratory and diagnostic procedures, as well as vaccination and testing, depending on your needs. We can go to any location of your choice within the metro and readily offer these healthcare services to communities or groups. For added convenience, different modes of payment are available, including HMO benefits for those with a valid letter of authorization. We believe that access to affordable, quality, and compassionate healthcare is a basic human right, and we at Makati Med are doing our best to make this possible to more people. For inquiries, scheduling, or pre-registration, you may reach out to us at the following numbers. We look forward to coming to you and serving your community with Makati Med Mobile Care Access. World-class quality healthcare with a heart is now more accessible and affordable with Makati Med Care Access. I am Dr. 𝗛𝗶𝗁𝗁 from Makati Medical Center. Our mission is to serve and provide compassionate care and excellent service to everyone who needs it. And now, we are bringing our renowned brand of world-class healthcare to where you are. With Makati Med Care Access, we have expanded our services beyond the hospital premises to serve you in convenient locations where you can avail of premium but economical healthcare. The Makati Med Care Access Araneta City is where we offer health screening and diagnostic procedures. Here, you can get services such as mammogram, ultrasound, lab procedures, ECG, and many others. What's more, Makati Med Care Access Araneta City is the only single-use hemodialysis center in Araneta City. This makes it easier and convenient for patients to avail of renal care services right in the heart of Cubao. Here at 𝗛𝗶𝗵𝗶, another Makati Med Care Access Clinic is located, offering outpatient care like consultation and diagnostic procedures such as medical assistance, hospital admission assistance, blood pressure monitoring, laboratory tests, and X-ray, among others. This is really convenient for those residing in Makati and nearby communities who do not want to proceed to the hospital to have these treatments and procedures done. The Makati Med Wellness Center, located at Ayala North Exchange, is a warm and comfortable space where executive checkups and services for holistic patient care and wellness can be available. In this wellness center, we have a skin and laser hub, diagnostic imaging, health screening, mind and wellness care, and physical medicine and rehabilitation. It is equipped with modern facilities and has competent healthcare professionals who are committed to deliver premium, personalized, and easy access healthcare services to adult and pediatric patients alike. It is connected to the main hospital by a bridgeway at the side of Ayala North Exchange. To make our services more accessible to certain areas, the Makati Med Mobile Care Access was launched. As the name suggests, this service is mobile. We go to where you are. Mobile Care Access deploys a team of professionals for face-to-face consultations and to conduct basic laboratory and diagnostic procedures, as well as vaccination and testing, depending on what your community needs. We can go to any location of your choice within the metro and conveniently offer healthcare services to fit the needs of any community or group. For added convenience, different modes of payment are available, inclusive of HMO benefits for those with a valid letter of authorization. Now that is truly accessible healthcare. All these additional locations under Makati Med Care Access are meant to make it easier for more people to avail of our services. After all, access to affordable, quality, and compassionate healthcare is a basic human right, and we at Makati Med are doing our best to make this possible to more people. For your healthcare needs, please visit us at the following Makati Med Care Access Centers or contact us to come to you and allow us to take care of you.
You're back with Healthline, keeping you healthy. Moderated by Nicole Jacinto.
Indeed, you're back with Healthline with Makati Med, hosted by myself, Nicole Jacinto, and our special guest for today is Dr. Bruce Canto. He's an orthopedic specialist, and we're talking about lower back pain and lower neck pain. And as we said, you've got questions, we've got answers, but I've already got a lot of questions for Doc. And apparently, Doc said earlier, when you do see someone like Dr. Canto, he said they might ask you a lot of questions. And I can't emphasize this enough to our audience and to people I know. Doctors have to act like detectives. So when they ask you a lot of questions and they examine you, the best thing really is to just give them all the information they want. And they need that information to come up with the best diagnosis and to get to the bottom of it. And I understand, doctor, sometimes people might be ashamed or they think whatever the reasons are for any type of pain or any kind of condition might be too private, but you're sworn to, you have doctor-patient privilege anyway, and you're there to help them. So I just want to keep reminding the audience of that doctors are there to help you. And, if they can pinpoint one activity or one thing or whatever it is, lower back pain and neck pain are not really top subjects that have stigmas attached to it, like other topics that we talk about here. But still, just bear with your doctor and also try to remember as much as you can and come up with all the information you have. So your doctor is really well equipped to find out what the cause is and, to help cure you and help you get out of this pain. Doctor, you mentioned earlier, I wanted to ask you about if there's a certain demographic of people who experience lower back pain, lower neck pain, or both. And you did already mention some of that. These are people who work in the office who are always sitting down, people who work from home. And, they can't get up and stretch, or they don't get up and stretch. And I have experienced that myself, like when you're really doing something and you're focused on it, or you don't have enough time. You mentioned the BPO industry where they're not even allowed to stand up and take a break. You also mentioned the chefs who stand in the kitchen all day and do repetitive bending movements. There might even be people who work in construction where it's the whole, but they might lift something at one moment, overstretch just to get something done.
That's correct. No, I was about to say, those in the, who do a lot of manual labor during the days, like construction, they're carrying heavy loads during the day, even maintenance.
Yes.
I have a lot of caregivers, mga nursing homes, caregivers work at nursing homes where they're doing a lot of transferring patients, and then they're trying to even in the hotel industry, I have patients who are room attendants, carrying mattresses, flipping and changing the bed sheets and all that. So it's really it doesn't actually spare anyone. No, it's really it's activity. I just want to say it's activity related. It depends on what you're doing, and if you don't set aside part of your day to really stretch or exercise or to strengthen the muscles that you need, to perform the tasks that you're doing, then you'll end up having some sort of pain, eventually. So
how about, something comes to mind. How about those who are into fitness and they may go overboard, or athletes? Obviously, athletes, they work their bodies a lot. So, everyone who's exercised or tried some type of boxing or swimming, whatever, we all know we get tired. Sumakit yung ganyan ko. But do you have any, have you encountered patients who just overdo it?
yeah, so again, very good, no? I have actually a few yoga instructors who are also having back pain. And then
Years, okay.
you'd think that parang, they have really great flexibility.
Yes.
They do how many classes a day. There's this patient of mine, yoga instructor siya na I think he was doing about two or three classes a day, 5 days a week, no? And I mean, he may be really flexible and he may have a really strong core, but he's experiencing back pain. So I gave him the advice that parang maybe you're right, no, maybe you're overdoing it. So maybe you're doing too much, man. That even though you have great flexibility and you're doing the exact ideal exercises for your back, anything of too much is really not good. So so maybe doing it. A recommended ano namin is you have to have a day of rest in between. If you're doing any sort of physical training, or there has to be a day of rest in between. When we refer patients for physiotherapy, for rehab, we don't prescribe them daily rehab. You say that you have to have a day of rest, so every other day yan, no? Kailangan kasi they'll experience some sort of pain, from the exercise, from the stretching, from the working out. So you have to have a day of recovery, so that's what you do. So athletes, depends, no? Again, there's a tendency to overdo it, but I seldom see athletes who have back pain clinic talaga. So talagang, they know that they do their exercises, so that's great. So pero yung mga nag-over lang, yung mga sobra lang siguro. So those are the ones that I see.
Yeah, so even like as you mentioned, a yoga instructor or maybe even a gym instructor, boxing instructor, if they overdo it, they can also experience this type of pain. If you don't do enough, you can get this pain. If you overdo it, you will also get this pain. Yeah.
Right. So it's all about balance.
Balance. Yes, as you said.
Balance, diba? Yeah.
Okay. All right, doctor. What are the available treatments for sorry, how do you diagnose it fully first? I know we mentioned the clinic and the clinical examination, the interview, and you palpate. So that means like you press on certain parts of the back and you say, does it hurt when I do this? How about this? Or lift your leg here. Does it hurt here in this area? Do you also do things like if you find it's needed, do you do things like X-rays, CT scans, blood work, just to be sure?
Yeah, we do. The X-rays are case to case. Usually, you know that the patient has described to you that it's only about a few days. There's no trauma. They woke up from the pain, and then they had to pull an overtime, let's say, successively for the past 3 days or so. And then you do an examination, and there's no signs of any nerve impingement. There's no sciatica. There's no neurologic signs or anything like that. No, so more or less, it's really muscular. No, pagod lang talaga siya. So for those cases, I don't normally order X-rays. But if the pain has been there for like longer than 2 weeks or so, and it's unrelenting, or it's not responsive, it's not responding to any sort of medication. There are patients who say, "Doc, nagpahinga na ako. I rested for a week and still, there's still pain." And then they come back to you in the clinic. So these are the patients that warrant further investigation. Usually for the older population, for older patients that have back pain, let's say they lifted something, in the garden, or, nalubak sa kotse, these are patients who
that can happen.
65 above. These are patients, baka most likely they have osteoporosis, so you really have to be more aggressive when it comes to ordering tests for these kinds of patients. So usually pag ganyan, we order X-rays kasi they have brittle bones, you don't know, baka they have a fracture along the spine, which is causing their back pain. So it depends also on the age group as well. So it's case to case talaga whether or not you order. Sometimes if it's longer than a month, I have a patient very young, nasa 20s niya. So initially we were treating him as muscular strain, and then we gave him medication, and then came back after a week. Doc, it's not getting any better. It's actually getting worse, So after that, we took X-rays, and then in X-rays, it revealed that he had an infection.
Oh,
He had pala an infection of the bone, no? So,
yeah.
and you never know unless, you do these sort of tests. The infection I'm talking about, he had what we call Pott's disease. It's
Okay.
when you have a TB, a tuberculosis infection that infects the spine instead of the lungs, no? And that eats up away in the bone and the spine, and that can manifest as back pain as well. And patient will be initially fine, no fever, just complaining of the ordinary back pain. And then, so those are the things that you want to watch out for. These are the things that we want to be careful. So for those listeners, if you have back pain longer than 2 weeks, that is not, persistently painful and all that, you should come and see an orthopedic surgeon near you.
You
Parang
also get near you. I'll go to Dr. Canto, and he's like, "No, my schedule is filled." No, but you also get referrals from other doctors. Like, let's say, the patient will first go to their general practitioner, happen to mention it, or sometimes people are.
we also get that a lot. Yeah, usually from the internal medicine, the internists, no? We have our colleagues, no, and they'll refer to us na parang, oh, my patient had back pain. Initially, nagpa-check for high blood, pero masakit din pala likod. So, they send them over. Parang ganun lang din.
Yes, yes. Thank you, doctor. And what are the available treatments for back pain? Lower back pain and neck pain.
So again, if it's muscle in origin, if it's spastic, the part of the treatment is really lifestyle modification. You really have to tell them, you really have to investigate. I get makulit, I get really, not naman personal, no, but I ask them, what is your schedule like, no, during the day? What do you do? What do you like to do when you have free time? No? And
Well,
then
that's important. That's important, doc.
sometimes they reveal, no, na parang, Doc, lately I've been finishing this K-drama na tuloy-tuloy.
I was gonna say that one.
You've
Yeah.
been binging on TV, and then you realize kaya pala masakit yung likod mo, So and then you ask them what kind of couch do they use, or what kind of sofa do they have at home, no? Or do you watch lying down? Sometimes watch prone, nakadapa sila sa kama, So these are the things that are important factors. Why? So you tell them, then you educate them. This is how you're supposed to sit. This is how you're supposed to, if you watch again, no, every hour or 45 minutes, you have to take a break, stand, go to the kitchen, get a glass of water or a snack or something like that, do some stretching exercises. Hindi pwedeng tuloy-tuloy talaga yung upo, no? For example, for sometimes mga housewives, no, I see housewives, so I ask them, what do you do during the day? Wala, doc, sa bahay lang. And then when you pursue further, out there, they're actually the ones, household chores are actually more tiring than sometimes being in the office. Sila
Yes.
yung linis ng bahay, sila yung doing the laundry, they prepare the food. So para silang chef, para silang laundromat, para silang, all in one. And in the whole day, they're
The kids, making sure everything's clean.
taking care of the kids, exactly. Then may alagang aso pa, ilalakad pa nila sa, you know what I mean? So it's really, you have to really ask all these details, and then you tell them na parang, you cater to each and every activity, and you tell them this is how you do it, this is the way, this is what you should avoid, and stuff like that. So it's really education first as part of treatment. So you investigate, you find out what they're doing wrong, you try and correct that, and then you try to give them amount of time to do that, and then you give a little bit of medication, anti-inflammatory medication, and also for pain, if they're amenable to that. And then heat therapy, is very successful. You tell them to apply heat about 15 minutes 3 times a day. That increases blood flow to the muscles and so forth. If they come back to you after a week and they say, Doc, talagang, hindi ko kaya, then I refer them for physiotherapy. Then they have to go to rehab. And in rehab, the difference is they go there to a physical location. And there's a trainer, a professional physical trainer, professional PT, physiotherapist, who will actually guide them, who will do exercises for them, who will do ultrasound treatment, the latest forms of rehabilitation for their muscle and all that, and will also teach them home exercises. So that goes for about usually 6 to 12 sessions. And then when they're able to do that on their own, when they're able to do the exercises on their own and maintain his regular routine,
Mhm.
usually that's okay na. I don't see them anymore after that. Hopefully, you know.
A few things you said, doctor. Okay, first is education, and then second, medicine. You said anti-inflammatory stuff. Is it mostly NSAIDs, or can other things do it? Because NSAIDs, like there are people who are allergic to non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, and those are the like some of the most popular over-the-counter meds that people just kind of buy up because it sort of takes away their pain quickly. But you do give them a prescription of like how and when to take it.
Yeah.
You and
So
then
NSAIDs are the usual mainstay that we give. Short term lang naman. We don't give longer
yes.
than a week or so.
Mhm.
We also advise na hindi to maintenance, hindi to pwedeng gawin na
Kasi hindi na
tuloy-tuloy.
mabalik sa'yo. Oo,
Oh,
yung parang
for those who are allergic or who cannot tolerate NSAIDs, for example, they have gastric gastritis,
problem.
hyperacidity. So we have other options naman, no, like tramadol mixed with paracetamol, or other safer alternatives naman. So
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, just clearing that up. You said something very important there. Like you give it temporarily. You also want the patient to get back to you and say it still hurts, because a lot of patients, I mean, including myself before when I was younger, had this habit of, oh, it doesn't hurt anymore, so okay na, or then it will come back. But plenty of people self-medicate. Sometimes it's we think, kasi the doctor gave this to me. I've met so many. I know so many. I mean, and I'm not judging you guys. I'm here in my family, my friends.
I have relatives who are like that. They self-medicate, and then I'm already related to them, but they're still self-medicating.
Yeah.
So that's right. It's important, no? So you really have to consult your physician before you start taking anything, even though it was prescribed before.
Yeah.
Baka the reason has changed, or it's not. There's always a downside to taking pharmaceuticals. No, there's always a downside to it. It's never completely okay. So there has to be, the reason for it has to be bigger than the effect. No, so be careful, talaga.
As you mentioned, if you have gastric problems, tapos, somebody just, this is what the doc gave me before. So they keep taking NSAIDs, tas dumugo na yung tiyan
That's
niyo.
right. That's right. So prolonged use of NSAIDs causes ulcers, ulceration, gastric bleeding. So delikado talaga rin siya.
Oh, yung parang just keep your doctor informed, and and go back when you need to.
That's
Okay.
right.
And just want to emphasize that for our listeners here and abroad. By the way, hello to Ladybug from Madrid, who sent in a question, but it's part of it, and she's listening, and she'd like to hear it. Okay. So doctor, you did mention also heat therapy, so that would be what a lot of people know as warm compress.
Yes.
Do heat lamps work? Are there different types of gadgets that you would recommend, or anything like that?
Lamps work. I guess, yeah, heating pads, even those patches, yung mga salon pads, that will work as well. We have liniments and ointments to also manage the pain. If you don't want to take it orally, the medication, no, you can apply that. There are NSAIDs that apply, so that's also good as well. No,
Yes.
I get a lot of questions like, Doc, is it cold ba or warm ang nilalagay? Cold
Yeah.
ba
Yeah.
or warm compress? A general rule is kapag it's fatigue, when it's a fatigue or it's a strain, you want blood to flow to that region more for it to recover, no? So you apply warm. So these mga back strain, back pain, ganyan, warm compress does very well for these things kasi you improve the blood flow, you remove the metabolites that need to be circulated around the body. Kapag bugbog siya, if there is trauma, if there is blunt trauma to the area in the body, ayaw mo siyang mamaga, you don't want it to swell up, that's when you put cold compress, because ayaw mo mamaga, you want to slow naman blood flow to that area. So that's when you use cold compress. So for the neck pain and back pain, for me, it's really warm compress. There are studies that show alternating, no? Hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold actually also improves, no? Parang you increase blood flow, then you allow the healing prostaglandins in the body to stay there, and then you apply cold compress naman. So So different practices, no, pwede rin. But again, no, as a general rule, if you want to know what the first thing is, the best thing is to put on a muscle strain on the back or the neck. It's really warm compress na lang.
Thank you, doctor. Because it's like something like jump in and correct me anytime if I'm wrong. So let's say it's something like, you went out, natapilok ka, whatever, you sprained your ankle.
Yeah.
Usually in the first 48 hours, you don't want it to swell. So cold compress yan.
Yes.
Then
That's
after that, they also tell you to start doing warm compress. Because the heat makes the blood flow to that area, and the blood has the whatever it is that needs to heal that area. Okay, so all right, doctor. Thank you for reminding people and telling them as a general rule, it's warm compress if it's muscular pain for the lower back and the neck. But you did say studies show. But maybe go to your doctor because you might be like putting ice and putting this and putting that.
Yeah.
Get some professional advice. Okay.
But generally, it's again, pag ayaw mo pag bugbog siya, pag may trauma siya, cold. Kapag pagod siya, it's warm compress.
Oo. Kasi kung bago lang, doc, if it's a new injury like I don't know, your neck got whacked or your lower back, it could be that, something hit you or whatever.
Cold compress yun.
Cold compress. Pero pag matagal na, pagod na.
Yeah, warm compress. That's
warm compress. Okay. And you did say, there are ultrasound treatments as well. Is that healing through sound waves, basically?
Yeah, phonophoresis. It's really improving blood flow again as well. We also have what we call the TENS machine, the neurostimulation.
Yes.
So they try and contract the muscles. They stimulate muscle contraction. That's to strengthen also, and again, improve muscle condition also as well.
Doctor, okay, just very quickly, I'm told we have just a little bit of time left. How do you feel about massages, acupuncture, etc.?
If you have back pain that is significant, the kind of we've been talking about, massages are okay as long as it's not deep tissue, as long as it's not hard massage. Kasi I realized most patients like that yung gusto nila yung matigas, yung hard massage. The problem with the deep tissue massage is it stimulates more inflammation. So namamaga na nga yung muscle because of the pain. You have muscle inflammation, and then pag pinamasahe mo pa or pinahilot mo pa, lalong namamaga. So you end up with more pain, and then your recovery takes longer pa. But if it's just light, soothing massages, that's perfect. That's actually recommended. Nothing hard massage.
Acupuncture?
Acupuncture, helpful, but the level of evidence, not so strong. Still, therapy is still proven ideal treatment, better than acupuncture.
All right. And then, so I'm glad you said that about the hard massage because it might relieve you or in the moment, but then it actually takes you longer to heal kasi bugbog na nga binugbog mo pa. At saka,
but yung hilot, yung gusto naming iwasan kasi madalas they come in already, Doc, pinahilot ko na. And we're like, face palm moment kasi, it's gonna be more painful. Kaya pala 3 linggo na yung masakit yung likod mo kasi pinapahilot pa niya. So, the hilot is really just inciting more inflammation. Sometimes it can lead to even more injury. So, ingat na lang talaga.
And doctor, the last thing I was gonna ask you about that part was never touch the spine, right? Never touch the buto. Muscles lang.
Pwede naman.
Pwede. Pero ganyan. Never touch the spine. Oo.
That's
Pag
fine.
nagpamasahe ka, nagpahilot, wag mong ipadiin yung spine mo.
Wag naman.
Okay. Anyway, doctor, final words from you. What advice can you give, or is there anything you'd like to say to people who have lower back pain and neck pain, or both, or who have experienced it before, who may have it now, and when's the time to come and see your doctor? Like, what should alert you? Hey, you better go to your doctor and have it checked out.
So again, don't be scared. Back pain and neck pain are very common. Most of the patients are worried kasi, it might be my spine, it might be my cervical spine, or that. Don't be alarmed. It's very common nowadays, especially our lifestyle from the pandemic. I get that a lot, na parang since the pandemic, lagi na lang nakaupo, sedentary lifestyle. So to prevent back pain and neck pain, you really have to maintain proper posture. as much as you can. As in, prolonged sitting is the enemy, or prolonged static posture is the enemy. Try and move around. The more you move around during your day, the better you will feel. Try and incorporate some regular stretching exercises in your day. Core strengthening. You don't have to be doing weights or anything like that. Stretching in the morning is enough, no? And then if the pain persists for more than a week or 2 weeks or so, despite any treatment, come and see us. Or, even if it started very early, come and see us right away. Any questions? But basically, yeah, that's it.
Thank you, doctor. And also, maybe like when you're gonna watch TV or whatever, if your TV's not high enough, like, you double up your pillows. Basta, as doctor said, yung mga ginagawa nyo araw-araw, that's why he asks that. Cellphone, yuko ka, ganon. All of these things that come into play, and that's why doctors like Dr. Canto are actually good doctors if they ask you a lot of questions, because they're trying to get to the bottom of it. And the first thing you said was to educate the patient, which is good. You don't just go there right away. And that's what other patients are afraid of. The doctor will say, I have to do this. No, actually, you go along with what can be done first to see. Like, I think part of your treatment is also prevention, and that's very good, doctor. So thank you again for being on the show with us today. Thank you for
having me. Thank you again.
Yeah. Anyone you want to say hi to before we sign off and let the next program come on?
Hi to my wife and my baby, Ceres and Emma, my baby, and my mom. Hi.
Hi to your mom, to your wife, and your baby, to Ceres and Emma and your mom. Okay, thank you, Doctor.
My mom nagtampoy. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Okay,
Bye.
So folks, next week, same time, Healthline with Makati Med. Bye for now.
Thank you for tuning in to Healthline with expert doctors from Makati Med, giving you the chance to interact, uplifting your lifestyle. Moderated by Nicole Jacinto. Tune in again next week for your weekly dose of Healthline.
The views and comments of the hosts and guests are not necessarily those of the station.